Hello and welcome to WarrenThornton.com. Hello and welcome to WarrenThornton.com in conjunction with Unprecedented TV and Viral.tv. And of course, we are joined always on a Monday early by Paul Brooker, the housewife's favourite from Viral.tv and PaulBrooker.tv. Good evening, Paul. How are we?
I'm doing well, Warren. I'm doing well. Quite a chilled out weekend, really, in the world of news. I mean, there was a couple of big hitter stories, but I'm sure you're going to correct me there because you do the show on the Sunday night, so there's definitely stuff out there that I'm not aware of. How are you?
I am absolutely fine. I think I'm a little better than US relations. We're going to get onto that in a minute. The US State Department, having done a deal, or Trump having said he'd done the 12 out of 10 deal with, obviously, China, the State Department have managed to screw it up again. But we'll get into that in a little bit because, of course, they have done some, shall we say, rather stupid things. And we'll, as I say, we will get into that. There are one or two things that we have to get through, but we will be going through all of Paul's stories very, very shortly, just to let you know exactly what's going on. There are lots of things going on around the world. We've just got a little video for you, first of all. There are many, many places where all of a sudden there's a problem. And it might have something to do with the fact that many of these problems seem to be cropping up in countries that have large gas reserves. So let's have a little look at who has the most gas reserves and then wonder about some, let you have time to tick over why you think some of these countries might have a little bit of unrest in them. Let's have a little look.
Stating we're now up into the trillions of value.
So there we are. There's basically, we are looking at trillions of dollars there, or the massive amounts. And of course, that is one of the resources, along with rare earths and everything else. We'll be getting deeper into that. But first, we are going to go with Paul Brooker, and Paul Brooker has been having a look at the stories that he liked for us this week. Paul, what have you got for us?
Oh, wow. I'm just going to start with a comment from Kevin Ling in the chat. Meanwhile, in the UK, we got to hope those cows start farting again. Oh, that tickled me.
Yes, I think so, because if they don't, literally, we're all for the chop. We need that methane, don't we? Oh,
Right. Okay. Let's jump into my first story of the day. I mean, let's just get the sound on. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announces £50 million of further funding to protect Muslim communities. It comes after 10 British citizens were stabbed on a train on their way home. Here's a question, Warren.
yeah.
Why can't the Muslim community police themselves with all this random violence? Then they wouldn't need 50 million quid.
It is quite strange, isn't it? And of course, the thing that we have is this is Starmer once again his inability to read a room and gaslighting people left, right, and centre. It's almost as though he's doing it to provoke people into some sort of reaction, and it really does. It really is troubling when you see this guy coming out and doing things like this. Now, we have got a massive debt in this country. Yeah, we are literally drowning in debt. It's absolutely incredible how much debt we have. And yet,
Spiraling as well, Warren.
sorry,
Spiraling.
yes,
Spiraling debt.
yes, spiraling out of control. And of course, they're turning around and they're saying that there's money for this and there's money for that. What about the money for the people of the UK? I don't get it. It really, it's not just troubling. You can't be this incompetent. It's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be in, well, what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, let's have a little look at this. Look,
I'd also like us all to say with one voice that anybody who is responsible for these war crimes, and they are war crimes in Ukraine, will be hunted down and held to account before the International Criminal Court. As to whether each and every act is in accordance with the law, well, that will have to be adjudicated in due course. I think it's unwise for politicians to stand on stages like this or to sit in television studios and pronounce day by day which acts may or may not be in accordance with international law. I think it's not the role of politicians.
well, really, it is unbelievable. This guy is double standards all over the place. There's a double standard if you're white and English. There's a double standard in the law. There's a double standard on war crimes. If the Russians are supposedly supposed to have done it, it's a war crime. If the Israelis have done it, it's self-determination, or it's not up to us. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Paul. This I have long thought, because we are at this point, aren't we, with self-defense, Paul? I wanted to ask you this. Because I'm now at the point where you can get a good number of years in jail for carrying a pepper spray. So when we had this attack on the train, if you had pepper spray, me personally, lemon squeezy, you know, one of those Jif ones, those little Jif lemons,
Yeah.
fill it full of petrol and a Zippo. And I know people turn around and go, "Oh, you can't be doing." If you feel that your life is in danger, because I spoke about this at length yesterday, Paul. Once you defend yourself, the whole system, the government, the police, the law courts and everything, do their very best to punish you as the victim and not the person who was about to perpetrate that crime against you. For me, that is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace to do this.
Now, this is an interesting one, Warren, as you were saying about self-defense. Now, there's reasonable self-defense and there's excessive. Carrying a knuckle duster, excessive. Now, I looked into a personal defense course, and the things that they recommend, your keys can be a good weapon. This is for women mainly. A can of Lynx deodorant, would you believe?
In the eyes.
Spray that in the eyes, and they're not seeing anything. And I thought that was quite poignant because you're allowed to use anything that you commonly have as a defensive weapon. But likewise, if the guy's running around with a 2 foot machete, a can of Lynx isn't going to cut it, is it?
No, and especially if they're wearing glasses. You know what
Here's
I mean?
what's really going to start happening. We're going to start seeing metal detectors everywhere. Train stations, schools, bus stations, you name it. Everywhere where the public congregate, there's going to be metal detectors. And they'll scan off the radar with 2 foot knives being smuggled in.
Do you know what? Do you know what stops it, Paul? Very, very simply, if you've got a letter from your employer, like you're a chef, and you take your knives to and from where, I don't see any. I mean, please tell me if I'm wrong. I don't see any occupation or any reason for anybody ever to carry a knife or a machete or some sort of stabbing implement. Do you?
It's grey, Warren. That's the problem, though. It gets grey. Then it turns into, well, my clients were just having a fight. Well, because the argument is always there that who's the clear victim?
Yeah. But I mean,
And,
if you've got a knife, if you're carrying a knife
yeah,
of any kind or any description, shouldn't you just? I mean, you get longer in jail. This is what really annoys me. You get longer in jail for carrying a pepper spray,
yeah,
than you would for carrying a knife and threatening somebody with it.
yeah,
We've seen people just be released because they've threatened someone with a knife.
yeah.
The guy had done it earlier on in the day. He'd actually,
In
um,
London.
I mean, why was that guy not locked up? He's clearly
Yeah,
violent.
that's the question. That's where two-tier policing comes back in, Warren. I'm sorry, but you can't justify brandishing a knife in the streets and then be expected to be let go. Surely he should at least be sectioned under the Mental Health Act.
Yeah.
Surely you get a knife out, waving it around in the streets. The very least you're getting a 48-hour hold under the Mental Health Act. The very least. You're telling me they've let him go under sound mind.
Yeah.
Any victim out there on that train needs to sue the police because, quite frankly, they did not do their job.
No, they didn't. And here's the thing for me. I don't think that the government and the police force, I am now of this opinion that is so bad that it's by design.
Yes.
I honestly am now at the point where I believe this is by design. If they do it to a white person, no one cares. No one cares. The police
This
don't
is all
care.
about total control.
Yeah.
Bringing enough anarchy to the streets that the digitalized ID system comes in for total control. Not entering shops, not entering sports events, not entering anywhere publicly without your card and facial recognition.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what you do. You defend yourself. You carry whatever you like to defend yourself. And when you get hauled into court and they try and put you in a magistrate's court, you insist that you want to go to Crown Court. And very, very simply, that is your right to be judged by your peers. You insist you go to Crown Court because I tell you something now, a jury, that's the one thing they don't want. They'll have you appearing in front of a magistrate because all the magistrates are whores for the crown. Very, very simply, you appear in front of a jury of your peers of 12 people. Nobody in the world will convict you for carrying at the moment in the condition that the United Kingdom is in. Sean Murphy, then Lee Williams.
Well, I think with a problem with these, like this guy who was arrested after brandishing a knife and then released, I think he may have mental health problems. He should have been sectioned, but there is so much paperwork, and the police do not want to do the paperwork to have him sectioned and put in under a mental health facility. And I think that's one of the problems. The police cannot be bothered to do the paperwork. It's too much trouble for them.
That is, yeah, absolutely. And there's a perfect quote. Mark Newman, applause. In the chat, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Lee Williams.
I'd say, is there a conspiracy in the fact that maybe, let's say 90% of them might actually be mentally ill that are actually coming in this country?
Well,
I don't know whether they're mentally ill
or criminals, but here's a really, really straightforward thing. There are people out there who go, "Oh, you carrying is not the answer." Okay, so what is? Give me the answer, Paul. You give me the answer. If you can't carry, if it's a choice of a person getting onto a train and possibly doing this, and you carrying something to save your life, and risking being stopped by policemen and then searched, and spending time in jail, are you going to take that risk?
This is it, Warren, isn't it? I mean, it's getting to that point where everyone's going to start carrying something. We are very, very close. At the moment, my last 3 or 4 train journeys, I haven't sat there in fear, but my train journeys, I wouldn't say is inner city London.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm going to put something. I'm going to put something out there. If you don't want people to carry, if you don't want vigilantes, then start policing properly. Because if you don't, then people are going to do that, and you cannot turn it back on them because
Yep.
you have failed in your duty to keep the people of Great Britain safe, regardless of colour. You absolute useless articles. Paul.
Absolutely right, Warren. Absolutely right. Well, now we've put the train to rest and, well, just absolutely baffled me. I've got a crazy conspiracy theory, and I'm sorry, I know we normally fall through the truth, but wow, this one blew me away. And it's a guy I follow on TikTok. But when he came out with this, it totally threw a curveball at me. Check this out.
JD Vance is going to divorce his Indian wife, distance himself from his family, marry Charlie Kirk's widow, and position himself for the 2028 presidential election. And it's all over a hug. JD Vance is going to divorce his Indian
Okay. I'm going to say there's two things wrong with that. I mean, it could be you could be right. It could happen. Stranger things have happened in politics. As far as I'm aware, JD Vance has a fairly happy marriage. I'm not sure that that this is that and the other. I think it would backfire if it did happen. I think it would backfire terribly, Paul Brooker.
Well,
Meat and drink.
this all came from this hug on stage where she ran her hand through his hair in a normal hug, and that was the weird thing about it. But anyway, I just sort of throw that in there for a bit of weird out there thing. Back to the actual news.
We are talking about on top of his head, aren't we?
Oh, Warren.
But here's the thing. I think Marco Rubio is the blue-eyed boy for the Republican Party, so I can't see that that's going to happen. But I reckon she would end up campaigning for him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Right, my next one. This is from Alexandra Marshall. This is terrifying. Did anyone see Macron's statement? European leaders have pledged to retake control of social media with a European agenda of protection and regulation. He insisted that Europeans should only trust established news outlets. Yeah, because the biggest threat facing Europe is definitely frustrated peasants talking about all the foreigners attacking them and destroying their country, not the politicians and their open borders policies that put them there. How can anyone believe that online safety is about children? It is about safety for the political class.
Yeah, and also stop. Very, very simply, when you see the online safety bill, there's 40 pages of it. Children get mentioned once. This is at the end of the day, Paul. This is Macron not liking the fact that Candice Owens called his wife a man. That's it.
Yep. And let's not forget as well, we've got the WEF now who will probably all go in lockstep and they will all follow him along this route. So get ready, everybody. What's coming down the road in Europe? Because I can tell you, it's not looking pretty.
No, it's not. And of course, once you get rid of that free speech, you have a real problem, don't you? Because when you get that, should we say, blocking free speech, and you're not allowed to speak about something, they can use that for anything. So for me, it's absolutely terrible.
And on the back end of that as well, and I haven't got the story to hand, the UK is talking about banning VPNs. So
Yes.
you are not
Yeah.
allowed to access anything that they say you can't. My God, totalitarian is looking more and more like it, isn't it, Warren?
Well, we spoke about that yesterday. We had the story about the VPNs on yesterday, and very simply, that is to stop you accessing things like maybe Russia's RT, which is banned, maybe Rumble in another country. It is not only that; it is then because they then can't track you so easily. It is so that they can go and grab hold of you for making a tweet or whatever. Suddenly, if you're protected with a VPN, they can't shut you down. And that's exactly what they want to do.
Also, don't forget, right here, right now, they are building profiles on every human on the planet. Everything you look at, everything you read, everything you write. Just wait until this turns out like that Tom Cruise movie where there'll be a trigger point. Yeah, Minority Report. Forget about people with psychic powers and everything. There will be a trigger point in your profile where it will flag he's not following what we're saying. We need to send him to a re-education camp. Get ready for that as well. If we carry on along this, I have big hopes that next year in the elections, it's all change. But this is the path we are going down currently. There's a reason why our data is so valuable, because they are studying, they're understanding, and they are getting ready to predict our next movements. And that's the scary one.
That is unbelievably scary.
Yes.
Yep. Right. We're going to head over to James O'Keefe now, because he's been a busy boy.
Oh, yes.
James O'Keefe literally caught an NGO instructing illegals on how to vote for Zoran Mandani as mayor of New York. He also discovered an NGO registering illegals to vote. So to recap, illegals are being registered to vote and told vote for Zoran Mandani. And here's the video.
Yes, I'm an immigrant. They sent me here to vote. I was recommended to come here to find information to vote.
Oh, you register?
Sorry?
When did you register to vote?
I did not. I didn't sign anything. They just told me to come here to vote.
Okay. Vote to, okay, para, de cartas al tema.
This is Michael Casey, correspondent with O'Keefe Media Group, reporting from New York City just before Halloween. And the only thing scarier than all the ghosts and the goblins and this rain this Halloween is a possibility of illegal aliens voting in our elections for mayor. Just last year, James O'Keefe encountered a man in New York City who ran a church called La Jornada in Queens.
Hey, this is you.
Now, Mr. Rodriguez was allowing illegal aliens to sign false documents to help them live in this country illegally and bypass the law.
What I found most odd is that Pedro Rodriguez would keep telling me that I did not reside at an address that he personally signed the letter saying that I resided at.
I encountered this man once again 1 year later. Same name, different address, same blue shirt, same tie. I encountered this man posing as an illegal alien, telling him I was new to this country, I just got here a couple months ago, I was not registered to vote, not a citizen, but I wanted to vote in this year's election. And what does he do? Like clockwork, he springs into action to help me.
Yes, I'm an immigrant. They sent me here to vote. I was recommended to come here to find information to vote.
Oh.
I was given those locations. I will show you. Forgive me, I am no Espanol.
No, English is perfect with me.
Thank you, sir. What's your name, sir?
Pedro Rodriguez. Pedro.
Pedro.
A pleasure. Yeah.
Miguel.
Yeah. You register?
Sorry?
When did you register to vote?
I did not. I didn't sign anything. They just told me to come here to vote.
Sorry, that's just started again. My apologies.
That's all right. That is quite incredible, isn't it? I mean, when you allow and that politicians allow this and people get round this, it is so that they vote against the candidate. That is not democracy in any way, shape, or form. Every single politician that we keep hearing spouting about freedom and democracy, he doesn't want you to be free, and he doesn't believe in democracy. He believes in their idea of democracy is to take away your freedom. That's it.
Yep, absolutely right, Warren. And don't forget, the only reason why these NGOs are saying for them to vote that way and this way, backhanders, follow the money. These NGOs are bankrolled by somebody, and that somebody is telling them to do something. It's as simple as that. It is the most simplest business model Because the money just keeps going round. You vote us, we hand you money, and we just keep going round and round and round. Vote for us, money, money, money.
Very
It's that
simple.
easy.
No foreign NGOs in other countries under any circumstances, and the NGOs that are of that country are not allowed to accept foreign funding. Nice and easy.
And all charity accounts should be public knowledge, full stop. No
Yep.
if, buts, or maybes. None of this hiding the books because
Yeah.
they're. No, you're a charity. You're in
You're
the
a secret
public
donor.
interest.
No, you're not. You're not a secret donor. End of story.
Yep. But anyway, let's move on again because for some reason I think I'm just riling us up tonight.
That's all right.
Rachel Reeves considers a 20% tax on assets of people deciding to leave the UK. We've now got being stopped to leave the UK. Can you see where this is going? When the population can't leave, that's even worse.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? And of course, we've got all this over and over again. We have seen that they've done this to us, and they'll keep doing this to us. The thing that I find absolutely staggering here is that they think this is okay. You know, if you do that, okay, and people decide to leave the UK, then nobody's going to come here either, because when they leave again, you're going to tax them. If they're not going to bring, you know, they're not going to bring their personal wealth with them. They're going to leave it overseas. It is an anathema when you tax people for leaving a country. You're hoping that one day they will come back. It is anathema to European or foreign business to tax people for leaving a country. Honestly, it's like nicking Russian assets. John Murphy.
The problem is, those in government are too dim and stupid to realise that, Warren. They just cannot get their head round that because it's common sense, and they haven't got any.
Who's going to invest, Sean? I mean, here's the thing. I'll ask Paul Brooker this. Paul, if you're a multi-billionaire, you come in, you set up a place in the UK. It doesn't work out too well. After 3 years, you decide you're going to go, and they're going to tax you 20%.
It's not happening. No, it's not happening. Every move this government is making
not going to come.
is making it so that nobody wants to bring new money into this country. No. So if there's no new money coming in, there's only an outflow of money. Yeah. And that Rachel Reeves thing, that has just triggered the last of our money people to leave this country. They're not going to wait, because if she brings this in, this will happen overnight.
Yeah.
Because the ones with money will be on the next plane out tomorrow, and they'll be phoning all their banks to move all their money. So if she pulls this card, they will wake up with that the next morning. So this has triggered the last outflow of all big money.
There's probably people doing that right now as we speak.
Yeah.
John Murphy.
100%.
Yeah, if you've got a brain.
Well, they're definitely, without any doubt whatsoever, trying to cripple this country. They're trying to cripple the economy and the people who live here. No doubt about it.
I think you're absolutely right. It's either by design or they're the most clueless in that bunch of people you could ever wish to meet, and they have no business.
I think it's by design, to be perfectly honest, Warren.
Yeah. Well, it's one of
and they're clueless as well.
But as I say, they might be both. But either way, whether it's by design or whether they're completely clueless, you have no business running a country. Resign and do it today. Nilis.
Yeah, it's definitely by design, and it's to bring in what they call the New World Order. So there's a very interesting documentary on YouTube at the moment. It's called The Agenda, and it talks about a lot of these things and the global ID. It's worth a listen, worth a watch.
Okay.
It's called The Agenda. The Agenda, it's called.
Okay, thank you. Paul.
Here's my next one. Just staying in Britain for now. I'm going to read out some numbers to everybody. So far in 2025, Britain has wasted £1.2 trillion worth has wasted 1.2 trillion pounds switching off wind turbines and paying gas plants to switch on. Today, wasted wind has already cost the Britain 6.2 million pounds just in one day. Switching off wind 1.7 million pounds switching off wind turbines. 4.4 million pounds buying energy. Why? That's 36,569 megawatt hours of green electrons, enough to power London for one day. Long story short, our national grid can't handle the amount of energy being produced. We're supplementing it with taxpayer funds because, quite frankly, if these were good enough, we shouldn't need to dip into our pocket to pay them to turn them off.
No, no, here's where we have the problem, and we've shown this on there before. Even building a wind turbine, right? If the petrol and the oil people thought this was a perfectly sustainable energy project, they would be everywhere. They'd be like gas stations. They'd be on the end of your street. Okay,
they'd be on our roofs. Everyone would have one.
Exactly. So they're not. All right. So, and the carbon footprint of making one of these things and running it for its 20-year life cycle will never offset the cost of actually making it and running it will never offset the carbon footprint of doing the damn thing in the first place. Okay, it will cost more to do that than it will for the energy you save or the energy you get. So anybody that's talking about this nonsense about climate change still, you can go, oh, this, and you can bang out all the figures you like. Okay, it's complete and utter rubbish. And the original people who did the report said that man was not responsible for that massive so-called upsurge or uptick that you called it. When it gets above 0.04%, give me a call. Till then, shut the hell up. And you know what? It never will, because at the moment, man-made, of that 0.04% of in the atmosphere, we're responsible for 0.00128%. Okay? Shut up. Oh.
Exactly. Now I've got something quite funny here, and it came across from Andrew Tate. It said, in England, you pay 50% taxes so they can feed people who stab you to death. It's 100% true. The funny bit was when I caught this little cheeky post.
Brilliant.
A gimmigrant. It's a noun, by the way. A person who has come to a different country in order to reside there permanently, live for free, and receive all benefits paid by taxpayers, but who has no intention of working or abiding by the laws of said country. When they don't get their own way, they play the discrimination race card. And let me just repost that now, because that is spectacular.
Yes, it is. I love it. I love that.
Immigrant
is brilliant. I'll be going on your wall and pinching that later. Yeah, there are enough immigrants out there like you wouldn't believe. It is beyond the pale. If you are not coming here to work, go home. Go home.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah, but they're expecting our country to find them the jobs.
Yeah. No.
They want them to find them the jobs.
Yeah.
And they all want to walk in on like 35 grand a year, £40,000 a year, you name it.
I mean, it's like yours a huge job, isn't it? You know, where someone turns around and goes, "Oh yeah," he goes, "I'm a brick." He gives a job. You know what I mean? And you've got no qualifications whatsoever. This is my whole argument with. It's like you wouldn't let a trans person perform surgery, would you? You know, when or somebody with her pronouns. You can be whatever you choose to be. Okay, today I identify as a surgeon. Let me take this guy's gallbladder out or whatever. It's simple nonsense. Nillis.
Well, as Mark Breckle said, a lot of them getting jobs in the security sector. They're all queuing up for licenses for that.
Yeah, and because then they can self-police their own hotels.
And if you're looking on YouTube, a lot of them are joining the police force, and these auditors go around. They meet these newly immigrated policemen, and you can hardly understand what they're saying, and they don't really understand.
The whole idea is to get Nillis. We've talked about this so many times before. The whole idea is to get them over into this country, give them an SIA license, and then get them either in the police force or in the military or in positions of power where they have the effect over your lives, where they can literally cause you a major, major problem. And that's exactly what they do. Oh, Sean Murphy, sorry.
Well, in my opinion, a lot of them have probably been thrown out their own countries for thuggish behaviour.
Of course they have. That's why their passports are in the drink. That's why they don't have a passport when they come over, but they
That's
all have
right.
a mobile phone and cigarettes.
Yeah.
And if you're out there and you're one of these people who is listening to this show and you're going, oh, you're just a xenophobe and this, that, and the other. No. If you want to send people who are doctors, who are nurses, tell you what, once they're doctors and nurses, leave them in their own country to make their own country better, okay, and pay them a decent wage. But don't send all your flotsam and jetsam and rubbish because when you export third world problems into a first world country, you end up with a third world country with third world problems. They don't become better, you become worse. Oh.
Absolutely right, Warren. Absolutely right. And you can see the downfall of the West now. Yeah. Why do you think Trump has just deported every single one? Because he knows what's coming. Look at Russia. Russia doesn't take kindly to hundreds and thousands of immigrants coming in. They boot them out. Australia sends out the gunboats and deports them to the pokiest island to be held. Because if you're serious, you're going to stay in a hellhole because you want to come in. Whereas what we do, we roll out the taxi service, that is the RNLI, and I am telling you now, I would not want to give them any money with what they're up to. But Paul, anyway.
Here's the thing, the RNLI, right? We stopped giving them money because we knew what they were up to, so the government gave them money to do it. The government is doing this. The government does not want to stop this. The government wants more in. But if you haven't realised that yet, when the government go, they've no intention of stopping this. None at all. Because
not until they've got the majority.
Yeah, Paul,
until they've got the majority.
Yeah, if they had, they would not have funded the RNLI to bring them over on the boat. Oh.
Yep. Absolutely right. And remember, everybody, the moment, dare I say it, the current government and maybe the previous government say, yeah, we're going to take a tougher stance now, we're sending the Navy. You know they've got the majority in the election. That is the it's too late moment. And in a couple of generations, it's game over. The USA will bomb us into Kingdom Come because they will not let an Islamic State gain control of a nuclear weapon.
I'm telling you now, I think we are less than, the next election, if we don't do something about it in the next election, we're screwed anyway. I don't believe we've got 10 years. I think we've got 5 tops.
I think it's all changed next year. Yeah. I think we're going to see the biggest turnaround. I think we're going to see a US style turnaround. I really do. Because Trump, the US will not let this country fall to an Islamic State. No way, no how.
No. An Islamic State with nuclear weapons. Look how they look at Iran. There you go. Paul.
Right. And we've got a funny little story just to end my segment.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Restaurant renames menu items as office supplies so customers can expense them. Basic steel stapler is a basic burger.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
I'll just pause it on the menu just so we can see it. There we go. Ergonomic aluminium laptop stand. That is a slightly double your fortune is now a laptop stand. Silicon keyboard cover is another type of burger. And braided cable probably is fries.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? And of course, you might get in trouble if you are one of those people who's a creature of habit and you like their burgers. Suddenly spending 40, literally getting 42 staplers in a year, or something along those lines. I wonder if we could. I wonder if you could put, I don't know, dancing girls down as HR personnel expenses.
Ooh. I'm just trying to work out how you'd word this. I don't think it'd be HR personal expenses. Anyone in the chat want to have a go? What should we label them as to get it through HMRC?
Oh.
Has anyone in the chat got an idea?
One of those, isn't it? Where you just sort of look at it and you go, I wonder what we could call that.
Yeah.
Business stress relief.
Sorry?
Stress relief.
Stress. Good idea.
Stress relief balls.
Yes.
Brilliant. Well, Warren, that's the end of my segment. Sorry, everybody, if we went down a bit of a slightly negative route, but I do think we need to raise awareness as to where the UK is at currently. And next year is the year of change.
Okay. I think you're absolutely right. Paul, stay right there. We're going to ask people by the end of the show. By the way, Game On, Australia has been officially named host of the 2030 Gay Games. Now, people are or homosexual games, or lesbian games, or LGBTQ games, whichever you want to call it. We're going to give you till the end of the show to come up with your own specialised event for those games. I've already got mine. The thing I want to ask you, Paul, this is absolutely crazy for me, because people are going, oh, it's, people are going, why shouldn't they have a games and everything else? Could you imagine if they had the 2030 straight games? Could you imagine the outrage that would come from that nonsense if they actually did that? Quite unbelievable. So there we go. Just to let you know that we've got some bits and pieces we're going to go through now. Israel ceasefire holding up really well, Paul. They bombed Khan Yunis again today. There's the actual flames. Good old Israel. You knew that they'd stick to the ceasefire, didn't you? Let's get into this bit now. This is a major. This is quite troubling and quite worrying. This is Merit Schneider. We've spoken about her before. We've even highlighted this problem before. She decided to become a complete vegan. That's her in 2019. That's her in 2024. Oh, honestly, she looks like some sort of heroin drug addict.
Oh, like her cheeks have eaten themselves. Oh,
yeah,
not
it's
good.
unbelievable. It is quite staggering when you look at her and you think, my God, how terrible she looks. And she does. I'm sorry. People go, oh, she's allowed to be this and allowed to be that. Yeah, she is. But honestly, if you're going to be like that, you're in real trouble. I think you are mentally ill if you think that is okay. Sean Murphy.
Well, to me, it looks like consumption, and she's consuming herself.
Yeah. It is quite staggering, isn't it? Let's face it. And we have to say that you don't like to see anybody looking like that. It's quite bad. There's a couple of things we need to get into. Nikki Haley's come out and said that we cannot have hate speech online. This is a woman who literally signed "With Love from Nikki Haley" on shells that were being lobbed by Israel onto camps in Gaza. I don't think she should be opening her mouth, should she, Paul?
I don't think anyone should be signing weapons that are there to kill people for giggles. Why is she signing a shell that is literally going, or has probably now killed somebody or multiple people? It's quite disgusting, really. Very poor taste.
And while we're on the subject of people who shouldn't be calling for people to be killed, let's have a listen. Let's have a word about Machado, Paul Brooker, because she's the Nobel Peace Prize winner, and she's urging. She's not only urged Israel for many years, but America since 2016 to bomb the living daylights out of Venezuela. On top of which, we have found out that Great Britain received gold from Venezuela to look after for them and keep safe, which they refused to give back once Maduro was in power, so they wouldn't give the gold back. Paul Brooker, that's going to stop anybody depositing any gold anywhere near, isn't it?
I still find it strange that these countries, all right, they say they're not safe, secure, and all the rest of it, are putting their gold in the Bank of England. There are always rumours that they haven't got enough gold, that if there was a run on the bank, that it's just not enough of it there.
Yeah.
So
it is staggering, isn't it? Nillis.
Yeah, if my memory served me right, there was a High Court case, and the High Court said that that gold belonged to Taekwondo, who was the American puppet
Yes.
leader of Venezuela.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? Absolutely unbelievable, you've got to say. And of course, while we're talking about Venezuela, sorry?
Not really unbelievable, because it's happens in a lot of countries. You know, throughout Iraq, Libya,
Yes,
Haiti.
Nilis,
Haiti.
I'm being ironic.
Right, but it's par for the course.
I have to
Haiti's one of
explain that. How long have you known me?
right, yeah, but how long have you known me? I'm
Yeah,
just saying that it's one of the largest gold producers in the world, apparently.
It is.
And it's one of the poorest countries in the world.
Okay.
It,
Here we go. This is Venezuela at the moment. This is all the these are just and Nilis, don't take this personally. These are all the American boats going out for the America's Cup yachting, Paul Brooker. These are just having a sail around. They're not really doing anything bad. We're getting to the point now because they were looking at like they were going to strike Venezuela, and then Russia turned up with a few aircraft, dropping various toys off to the Venezuelans, and suddenly, just like Iran, where there was a sudden dash by Russia to give lots and lots of weapons to Iran, and suddenly Israel went, oh, we want peace. Are we at this point now where America tried to overthrow a government, Russia rushed them arms so that they can do some damage with them, and America suddenly go, oh, maybe not?
Well, this is an interesting one, Warren, because, Trump wanted to be the man of peace. He probably should have won the Nobel Peace Prize over her, but we'll have to wait and see. But then he sent 14,000 troops off the coast of Venezuela. They didn't attack, so technically he still is a man of peace. But then likewise, Russia turns up, or China turns up, and things very quickly calm down. So you've got to ask yourself, is America still the attack dog it once was? Because the old days of America turns up with a battle group, nobody comes within 100 miles of it. Now, America turns up with a battle group, Russia's like, so what? We're going to come in anyway, even after they've been warned off, and do whatever the hell they want.
This might answer your question.
Invading Venezuela seems simple. Overthrow the government, seize control of the oil. But Trump is unlikely to risk putting American boots on the ground in Venezuela. Here are 5 reasons why. First, the terrain is an invader's worst enemy. Dense jungles, mountains, and heavily fortified cities like Caracas become natural fortresses. Every alleyway could become a front line, leading to massive civilian casualties. Second, Venezuela's military isn't built for a conventional war. It's a hybrid force, mixed with thousands of irregular militias loyal to local commanders. They wouldn't fight head-on. Instead, they'd melt into the population, ambush supply convoys, and drag the U.S. into a long, bloody insurgency. Third, the logistics would be a costly nightmare. Venezuela is nearly twice the size of Iraq. Every supply line would be vulnerable to attack. Without regional support, the U.S. would need a massive air and naval bridge just to sustain the operation. And what about the oil? The supposed prize. The oil fields are a battlefield, not a reward. Fighting there could destroy key infrastructure, causing an environmental disaster and turning the resource into a sinkhole of sabotage and corruption. Finally, even a quick victory would lead to chaos. With its institutions hollowed out and society deeply divided, Venezuela would fragment. The U.S. would be forced into a costly nation-building mission it can't afford. An invasion of Venezuela would be quick to start, but impossible to finish. It's a trap of terrain, logistics, and politics that no foreign army could truly win.
Oh, absolutely right, Warren. Well, Vietnam's told you everything. America can't fight in a jungle. They fought in a desert because there ain't much there. But, yes. And even then they still have massive problems with insurgents controlling huge swathes of Iraq or Afghanistan. If they can't carpet bomb it, then they can't take it. And Venezuela, well, I mean, look at those jungles. They'll probably lose, I don't know, 1/8 of their forces to malaria.
Snake bite.
Yeah. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I see that. They would be fighting on ground that they would not. Let's just be honest here. they haven't got the military to do it. That's the truth. They haven't got enough numbers. They haven't got enough vehicles. You name it. They haven't got enough of it to be able to wage war effectively. They'd have to drag in the rest of the world to be able to pull that off, and even then, it would be a hard slog.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a bit of a fun one here for Paul because he is our financial expert. Tell me how good these financial experts are, Paul Brooker. In Spain, thieves broke into a Bitcoin machine to take the coins out.
You totally caught me off guard with that one. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God. How many $100,000 Bitcoins are in there?
I could not let you go. I could not let you go on without showing you that one. I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
That is
and
brilliant.
Of course, everybody looked at
They're
that.
a hot topic at the moment for money laundering. Massive
Yes.
hot topic for money laundering because they can't track the Bitcoin and they can't track the cash.
Yes, it does seem a very strange thing, doesn't it? Let's have a little look at this. This is, we've got somebody wants to have a talk. Nicholas?
Excuse my ignorance, but what would you do with the Bitcoin machine? Is it like a vending machine or something for Bitcoins?
Paul?
No, so what it is obviously you need your wallet address, which you have to type in. You feed it cash and it'll give you 0.0001 of a Bitcoin or something, which will be transferred to your wallet. It might even be done ever so slightly different. You might have to register for an account with the company that runs it. But long story short, there's no KYC on it. It's money laundering nightmare town. Like, you can't believe it because you can just tap your card and buy it, or you can just feed in £20 notes.
Yeah.
It doesn't enter the system in the traditional sense. It's not someone going out there and buying a 50 grand Lamborghini or something. This is like, because they have to report it to HMRC. You're on a radar. Putting it into a bank. You're on a radar. This is like feeding it cash and selling Bitcoin, and that's how you launder money because there's no being stopped.
Yeah, exactly that. I hope that answers the question. Because of course they opened up the machines and there was absolutely nothing in there. This seems like a good idea. If we're getting rid of pickpockets, have a look at this.
Attention guys, pickpocket.
This guy spots a pickpocket targeting innocent tourists and makes sure to mark her with paint so everyone knows who she is.
You're not gonna steal people anymore, yeah? Here is not a place for steal the people, yeah? Change your job till 8 after here, yeah? Don't come to Victoria and Pimlico for stealing the people, yeah? Here is not the place for you stealing. Idiot. Don't come here for stealing people, yeah? Don't come to Victoria and the Big Ben, Westminster for stealing people.
There we are, Paul. Everybody's going around now, or there are some people going around spraying these people. Isn't that crazy?
It's brilliant, personally. I'm sorry, but pickpockets are a problem in inner cities. The police aren't interested in dealing with them either. It's like that thing. Anything under 200 quid, no one cares.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I'd quite happily do it. Lee Williams, very quickly.
Yeah, I was only going to say, what city is that in? Because I didn't understand the English properly, but I know obviously it's not English. But what country was that?
That was Westminster, of course.
Oh, London. Okay.
Yeah, quite crazy. Let's have a look at this. Nigeria. Nigeria have made a big mistake turning around and saying that, of course, they want America to respect sovereignty and not cause a problem if they do come into the country. And, of course, that's simply not going to be the case. Your thoughts on this, because I'm not being funny. America are saying we're going to go in there and help Christians. Now, Nigeria is rich in national resources, particularly with large oil reserves. In 2014, Nigeria was the leading oil producer in Africa and became the largest African economy, surpassing South Africa in terms of GDP. Crude oil accounts for 40% of the country's gross domestic product. There is natural gas, tin, iron ore, coal, limestone, lead, zinc, and arable land covered with great vegetation, marble, clay, limestone, gold, coal, and uranium, and in many areas of Nigeria, as well as gemstones such as sapphire, emerald, beryl, zircon, tourmaline, and garnet. In fact, there's so much of it that it's referred to as the giant of Africa. But of course, America are going to go in because Christians are getting killed. They didn't seem so worried about that when Syria and Al Jilani were wiping out all the Christians then, Paul Brooker.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, Warren. And I've seen lots of posts about politicians saying this is horrible, we should do something about it, etc., etc. Syria was wiped over. The Christians that were being killed in Syria were ignored. So the fact that they're taking an interest in Africa, does it tell you that Ukraine's not paying off? That they can't intimidate Venezuela? They're looking for the next target, and they need a reason to go in. And Africa, it's not as massively developed as somewhere like Venezuela. So, dare I say it, could the takeover be quite swift, easy to get to the resources? I don't know. But what I do know is that they've kept the whole of Africa downtrodden. They've never let it build up its civilization properly. And that goes for all the countries, China, Russia, America. None of them have been interested in building up Africa. They've just been interested in strip mining it.
No, absolutely. Sean Murphy.
Well, we all know that Nigeria is probably the richest country in Africa. In fact, they got so much money, they can't give it away even by email.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Sorry, I just got that one.
It is one of those. Yeah, you can't even give the money away that's hidden under the bed. Nillis.
Well, I think slightly wrong about that. I think China has invested in Africa.
It has. I was going to come to that, so I'm not wrong, but I was about to come to that. So let me say my bit on China. Then you can tell me where I was wrong. Nigeria was the largest recipient of Chinese construction finance in the first half of 2025, with 21 billion in construction deals, making it a focal point for China's Belt and Road Initiative. In addition, in late October 2025, Nigeria and China signed a major 3.5 billion investment partnership. This agreement focuses on boosting Nigeria's infrastructure, energy, and manufacturing sector, including the construction of new solar power panels, modernization of rail lines connecting major cities, and expansion of industrial parks. The partnership is seen as triggering Nigeria's economy, but the country is in ruin because of the war in the name of saving Christians. China can't expand their Belt and Road, and that may well be the real reason why the West are threatening Nigeria. Right, Nillis.
The West has always invested in Africa in failed, like white elephant projects, basically to keep the Africans in debt to the primary organisations of the World Bank and the IMF.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And China's been very different. They've invested in Africa to help Africa both industrialize agriculture, to help its agriculture. It's basically they built power plants, road infrastructure, and to help the economy.
They're trying to do that all around the world as well. Paul Brooker, when it comes to Venezuela, we know that there's all sorts of, we know that the Russians and the Chinese were investing there. Is this another case of, is it just they're after Nigeria's minerals? Is it because they want to disrupt China helping countries basically raise themselves out of poverty? Or is it a case of both?
Well, this is it, Warren, isn't it? Because Africa seems to glow hot, then go cold for a while, then glow hot, then go cold for a while. Burkina Faso. I mean, look at that. If Ibrahim Traore is left alone, what he's going to build there is going to put him on the radar across the whole of Africa. He could be the voice to unite the whole continent. I don't know, but my God, he seems to be doing the right things for his people. And you look at Nigeria. Nigeria has had, well, how much money has Nigeria had in water aid and this aid and that aid and everything else? I mean, the amount of money. Is Africa just another massive money laundering pit where we don't care as long as the private corporations can rinse the minerals out of the ground?
Yeah.
It's just screaming, what is the point of going in there? Because I pray that they go in there to save Christians. Will they really go in there to save Christians is the bigger question.
Yeah. And one thing before Paul Brooker leaves us at the end of the first hour, we're going to have a little look at this, Paul. You can book a hotel room in China for $300 and you get your own red panda, would you believe?
In China, can you have a red panda just chilling in your crib? But we just vibing with him. He's part of the roommate squad, you know. He's got his own bed, pan to the bed. What's up, bro?
That is crazy cool.
Hotel room with a difference.
That is very, very cool.
It is. Lee Williams and then Nillis, and then we'll say goodbye to Paul. Lee Williams.
Is there any dogs you can keep around the world when you take them like into a hotel or whatever?
I'd quite happily feed one of them. That'd be well cool. Nillis.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I like a red panda in my hotel room. Thank you very much. Going everywhere.
Okay.
No.
One of those. I'm sure he has a litter tray. I'm sure he's house trained. But yeah, each to their own. Paul Brooker, where can people find you on your social media?
Everyone can find me over on brooker.tv, and also I'm going to start appearing on Viral TV in the not too distant future. And I'm also on charlieward.com. I'm in a few different places, Warren. I get around quite a bit.
Yeah, one of those. Thank you very much for being with us. And also, you people out there, if you want to watch the second half of this show now, you do have to come across to warrenthornton.com because we cannot risk being taken off the air. And of course, we want to show you everything that you need to see. Once again, thank you for joining us, Paul. As Paul leaves us, we will say goodbye to everybody on the live stream. And do, as I say, come across and see us at warrenthornton.com or on Patreon. Thank you very much indeed, Paul.
It gets a lot juicier in the second hour. Take care, Warren. Take care, everyone. Thanks for having me on. Bye now.
Bye-bye.